Hello, everybody. Welcome to Real Talk Fins Talk. I'm your host, Steve Molloy, and thank you for joining tonight. I appreciate all of you, all the folks that are coming up into the chat. Make sure you hit that like button and down there, that little bell down there. Make sure you subscribe, share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. Now, whatever platform you're on, come on over here to the YouTube channel. Look for Fins Talk Sports Network. Real Talk Fins Talk is the show you'll be watching. I'm live right now, and we'll talk Miami Dolphins football. Well, well, we won again. We won again. The Miami Dolphins beat the New Orleans Saints in the Hard Rock 7, 21-17. So us fans, as fans, we should be happy, right? We should be elated that we won again. What's that? 2-3 straight for the Miami Dolphins football team? Great. Wonderful. We're on a roll. I love it. I love it. I am happy about that. Now for the dose of reality. We just barely beat a bad team with a rookie quarterback that outplayed our franchise quarterback making $212 million contract. Outplayed him. I don't know what's wrong. I'm not going to make this all about Tua, but I don't know what's wrong with this guy. I think we've seen his ceiling. I think we've seen his peak. We're not going to get much more out of him anymore. That's it. We squeezed everything we could out of this guy. And now when we first drafted him, he was kind of going up a little teeny bit. Then Mike McDaniel came to the Miami Dolphins. He went up a little bit. Then he started leveling off, and now he's like taking a nosedive. Taking a nosedive. He's regressing. He's regressing, and I don't think we're going to see much more out of him. He's just average quarterback. Average. He's had a couple good games this year, but for the most part, he's just been average. He's the ranked 23rd in the league right now in the NFL. 23rd. 23rd. I had him up there around 14 when he's playing at his peak, and now he's 23rd, and he's slowly but surely, again, as I said, taking a nosedive. Look, I know a lot of folks are saying, "Wow, what's wrong with him? What's going on?" No. He is what he is. He's always been the same guy. Okay? He's always been the same quarterback. He is no different. He just doesn't have Tyreek now, which made a big difference in his play, as we all are seeing right now, because there's no excuses this year. He's been healthy. And he's still playing bad. Sure, the O-line isn't up there. It's not a top 5 O-line, but it's adequate. And in fact, this last game against the New Orleans Saints, he was getting rid of the ball in 2.4 seconds. That's the slowest release time he's ever had getting the ball out in a long while. And as we see, the longer he has the ball, the worse he gets. I've been saying this for a little while. I've been saying he wasn't it for 3 years. 3 years. But it is what it is. Will he be back next year? Who knows? Who knows if he's going to be back next year? Is McDaniel going to be back next year? I don't know. It's too far down the line to even think about that right now, to be honest with you. Although we do talk about it a lot. A lot of other folks talk about it on other podcasts and Twitter and all this other stuff. Media, national media talks about it. We don't know. But lately, we haven't heard a lot about Tua. That's good anyway. So, hey, Adrian, how you doing? Thanks for joining tonight, brother. Appreciate you for joining the show tonight. Make sure you all go over there and hit that like button and subscribe to Rainy Day Podcast. Adrian has a good show over there. He doesn't just talk Dolphins, talks college football, wrestling. So I'm sure you all enjoy his show as well. So make sure you check him out. But yeah, so Tua is what he is. He's just an average quarterback. Uh, this last game, he played even below average against the Saints. I mean, Tyler Shuck outplayed him. Tyler Shuck outplayed our supposed franchise quarterback. But hey, um, I think one of the things that we are noticing, or at least I'm noticing in Tua Tagovailoa's play, is not only can he throw the long ball anymore, his accuracy, is I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. Yes, Adrian, I know he's not a franchise quarterback. That's why earlier I went like this, franchise quarterback. But yes, we did everything to yes, I agree, brother. Thank you for joining tonight. Yes, we did everything we could to lose, but we did come away with the win against a bad team. But anyway, so yeah, I think the biggest thing with Tua Tagovailoa is, and it's something to keep in mind, and it's something that I made a point about just a few weeks back, and I also was talking about this earlier in the off season as well, because if you remember in the Houston Texans game, which I did attend here. I live in the Houston area, so I did attend that game, and he hurt his hip. He hurt his hip, and he was out. He was out. What was it? A couple games or a game or two last year because of that hip injury. We didn't know the extent of the hip injury. No, it was all hush hush. I get it. It's and even after the offseason, after the New York Jets game, guess what? We didn't hear any more about the hip injury. Nobody asked about it. Nobody. No, none of the beat writers asked about it. McDaniel never mentioned. None of these folks ever talked about it again until the beginning of the off season of training camp. They had some folks asking too about the hip injury, and he said what they asked him what the extent of the injury was. He said no comment. I'm not going to give that information out. But you know what? He did say, well, I really didn't start feeling, didn't really start that hip still really didn't start feeling better until around February. So the seriousness of that hip was, I'm sure it was pretty bad. Okay. And now we're seeing the remnants from the injury, not only from his college days, but from last year. And now this year, it's affecting him a lot. And you can see in his mobility how it's affecting him. His mechanics, all that is off. And you got to have good hip placement, good foot placement, and all that stuff when you're a quarterback in the NFL. And the quarterbacks these days in the NFL, I don't know if you've all been watching football, but all 95% of the quarterbacks are mobile in one way or another. Okay. They can get out of the pocket. They can run. They can go for a first down. They can carry the team if the receivers, are not getting open. Running backs aren't, breaking through holes and they've been stopped. And quarterbacks have to take over the game. And the only way to do that is if you can't get a pass off and your running backs can't run, you've got to do the running. You've got to go off script. You've got to make things happen. And we don't have a quarterback that can do that. And I've been saying this for, again, 3 years. 3 years. All right, enough of Tua. Now for some positive. Achan, Devon Achane, another tremendous game for Devon Achane. Devon Achane doesn't need much of a hole to get through. He doesn't. His speed and his shiftiness, his vision is just so good that he can just pop through. You give him enough daylight and he's gone. And he's shifty enough and powerful enough to get through, as small as he is, to get through the line. I'm not saying he's a bell cow, because that is one thing I'm afraid of with Devon Achane is he's gonna get overused, because right now he is all we got. He's carrying the team. He's the offense right now. And to prove my point, we've won 5 games. 4 of those 5 games, Devon Achane has had over 100 and something yards. And we've won. We've won those games that Devon Achane has had over 100 yards. So he's just a really, really good player. I'm just afraid we're going to overuse him, and thank God that he hasn't been injured this year. But remember, his first year or two in the league, he had some injuries. He had the concussion last year. He had, I think, a knee problem his first year. Now he has beefed up. He's gotten, he's gained maybe 10 pounds. He's gotten a little stronger. He's been in the league, 3 years now. So I'm sure he's on a good weight training program. Probably eating better than he did in college. He's probably has the best chefs, whatever. And so he is a lot stronger and a little bigger. But he's not a bell cow. And the way we're using him, we're using him like a bell cow. And what I'm afraid is, and here's the kicker. I know all the media outlets and the beat writers and some of these podcasts, we got to pay Achane. We got to pay him next year because he's our star. No, we don't. We don't have to pay him. No, we don't have to pay him. And I'll tell you why. This is my thinking. What's the life expectancy of a running back in the league? 4 years, 5 years or so, right? Okay. The way that we're using him now, he has been getting banged up. Next year, if we still have Tua Tagovailoa as a quarterback, or it doesn't really matter, whoever we have as quarterback, and Achane is on the team, let's say we give him an extension of 4 years. And he's not going to want peanuts. He's going to want $14, $15, $16 million a year contract, right? Look at McCaffrey. He's up there with McCaffrey. He's a top 5 running back, Achane. McCaffrey, Josh, the Baltimore running back. His name escapes me right now. Derrick Henry, Saquon Barkley, all those guys, right? He's up there with him. He's going to want a big contract. Okay, we give him the contract. He plays the year, and he gets hurt, and he's out 4 or 5 games. See my point? So, no, we don't have to pay him, okay? Let him play out that rookie contract, right? And then if he survives the year, if he doesn't get hurt, if he hasn't regressed, our teams haven't figured this out and have been stopping him, and he doesn't have a year like he's had this year, right? Then you don't have to pay him all that big money. Let him finish that contract out. I know people say, well, the cap goes up and the market is the market. The market goes up. Running backs aren't held with such high values they used to be, okay? They're not. Hey, thanks for joining Only There Survive. I appreciate you. What do you say? Is this organization has any respect or balls? HM would be a draft day trade. That's a good point, and I agree with that. I think that would be the way to go, to be honest with you. Rather than paying him, trade, get some assets, right? And build for the future. But this Miami Dolphins football team, at least history speaks, right? History says that it doesn't think like that. It thinks for now. We're going to build for now, and then when now doesn't work out, then they continue building for now and never think of the future, right? And just not a real good way to conduct a football organization. We know it's dysfunctional, but I agree. I think you're. Oh, this is Kenna. Hey, Kenna, how you doing, brother? I got you, man. Oh, that's right. You do have a. Do you still have your YouTube channel? If you do, folks, make sure you check out his YouTube channel. Only the real survive. Check Kenna out. Thanks, Kenna, for reminding me that it is you. I thought I recognized the name, but I wasn't sure, brother. Thanks. But yeah, so yeah, maybe we should put him on the trade block, man, and see what assets we can get. I would go that route, you know. But the other option is we don't pay him. We let him play through his rookie contract, and just like we did with Tua, right? I mean, we didn't do with Tua, which we should have done, is let him play, through that 5th-year option. Let him play it out and take it from there. And as you see, this is the result of panicking. The market is the market, and we're going to have to pay him all this money next year, and look how it's turned out. So, yeah, I love Achan. Don't get me wrong. He's from the Houston area, and I love the kid, man. He's a really good running back, but he's playing on a bad team, a very bad team right now. We need to start thinking for the future, for the next 2 to 3, 4 years. We need to try to build a dynasty is what we need to do. Not, think, we're like 1 or 2 pieces away. We're not. We're not. But anyway, so Achan had a great game again against the New Orleans Saints. Yes, he is the star of this Miami Dolphins football team right now. He is carrying this team. Now let's talk a little bit about the offensive line, right? Now, the offensive line, everybody's getting praise, the offensive line is playing better. John O'Sevaniah is playing better and improving, and Kenneth Grant and all this stuff. To be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, Jonah Sevaniah hasn't really improved that much. He might have had a good game here or there, maybe one game that he played at a average level. Okay. Austin Jackson, everybody was saying, Austin Jackson's coming back. He's the piece we need. Austin Jackson is playing like a backup. Just like Larry Borom Larry Borom and Austin Jackson are equal as far as play goes. Okay. Larry Borom is just as good as Austin Jackson. Austin Jackson does not make this running game go. Evidence. The 4 games, the 3 to 4 games prior to the New Orleans Saints. Okay. Achan didn't have Austin Jackson there. Okay. So, and he gained 174 yards against the Buffalo Bills. So it's not like we missed Austin Jackson that much. And another thing is, and I know a lot of folks are going to get on me on this, and they don't realize it, but Patrick Paul, he was playing really well at the beginning of the year, but lately he's just been playing average. Now he's a little better he's been a little better in the passing protection. He's a little better there. Okay, he's been good there, but in run blocking, average at best. And in fact, I was looking at his PFF grades. I know a lot of folks don't like PFF, but they do. They're a good indicator of a player's performance and the eye test, along with the eye test. Okay, and his PFF grade has gone down 10 points. His total, for pass blocking and run blocking has gone down. All right. So he's not playing he's not even playing good. He's playing above average at times. Chase Young was giving him hell against the New Orleans Saints when they were playing against the New Orleans Saints. He allowed a sack. Aaron Brewer is a one-trick pony. Aaron Brewer, they say, oh, he's the best center in the league. Yeah, in pass blocking. In run blocking, but he's average pass protection. He's average in pass protection. Okay. And I know, I get it. He's not asked to do a lot, right? Tua gets rid of the ball pretty quick, except within the New Orleans Saints game he didn't. He's still getting it out there pretty quick, but in New Orleans is the highest he's ever had, taken to get rid of the ball. 2.4. Okay. 2.4. And that's the reason why some of these guys on the O-line didn't have good pass blocking grades, because Tua wasn't getting the ball out as quick. But you see other quarterbacks out there. You see other quarterbacks out there. Drake May, he's missing more than half his offensive line. Josh Allen missing a couple of his O-linemen, his best offensive tackle. All these guys making plays. Jackson Dart, he has a terrible offensive line, making plays. All these guys. So all you need is an average offensive line. And if you've got a quarterback that has that it factor, that can make plays, go off script, can throw the ball downfield, is more mobile, you don't need a top one offensive line, because there's other teams that have top offensive lines, Atlanta Falcons, and look where they're at. Isn't it funny that the Baltimore Ravens without Lamar Jackson we didn't even think they had a chance to make the playoffs, and then all of a sudden Lamar Jackson comes back and boom, they're in the playoff hunt again, right? A quarterback makes a big difference on a team. A true franchise quarterback makes a big difference on the team. So we beat a bad team, ladies and gentlemen. That's the facts, okay? We've only beaten one playoff team this year, and that has been the Buffalo Bills, and that was a fluke. That was an anomaly, right? That's what that was. All right. Now, this up and coming week, we got the New York Jets. We playing them in MetLife Stadium. Hunter, how you doing, Hunter? Thanks for joining, man. If we don't win the Super Bowl this season, get rid of Tua. Hunter, I hate to break the news, man. We may not even be making the playoffs. I don't even think we're going to make the playoffs. If we lose this week against the New York Jets, we're out of playoff contention. We're not going to be in the hunt anymore, in my opinion. We're just not. Okay? We're not going to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We may not even beat Pittsburgh with a hurt Aaron Rodgers, or maybe not. He may not even play. Okay? We got Joe Burrow back. Cincinnati. Remember what I said about how big a difference a franchise quarter makes for a team? Cincinnati's playing good football with Joe Burrow. Hell, even the Jets are playing good football with Tyrod Taylor, and that's who we face this week. Tyrod Taylor. And he always gives us fit. Another mobile quarterback, not a franchise quarterback. But hell, we make Rookies and third string quarterbacks look like franchise quarterbacks. So this, if fans think, right, that this New York Jets game this week is going to be a automatic win, you're going to be in for a dose of reality. Because remember, when we played them the first time, we almost lost that game. Just like we could have very well lost the New Orleans game. We could have very well lost the Washington Commanders game against bad teams. And we're playing at their level. We're playing at their level because we just barely beat them. So this game is going to be a lot closer than you think either way. Whoever wins, I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. And we know how well Tua Tagovailoa plays in the cold. And without his mobility and his arm strength now and his regression, I don't think it's going to play out very well for the Miami Dolphins this weekend, unfortunately. I hope they win. I hope they go on a run. I hope they can beat Tampa. I hope they can beat the Patriots because the Patriots might be resting their guys at the end of the year. I don't know. But maybe we can get 8-9, 9-8. Okay. That's realistically, that's probably what we're looking at. 9-8, 8-9 right now. Okay. Another mediocre season. Another mid-season. This is why we got to get out of this, thought and thinking this organization has to of, oh, we're just like 2 or 3 pieces away. No, you're not. You're a rebuild away, a 2 or 3 year rebuild away. Because until you get a Drake May, until you get a Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson or a Patrick Mahomes playing quarterback, we're about 3-4 years away to even think about a Super Bowl. We might be competitive in the regular season. We might win some games in the regular season. Hell, we might even be a wild card or may even go to the playoffs. But when you get into the playoffs, as we know, that's a whole different ball game. A whole different ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk a little bit about the defense. Oh, and not to mention, Darren Waller was playing against New Orleans. He was in there. I mean, we had most everybody was healthy. Okay? So there's no excuse there that we had a bunch of injuries either. We've been relatively healthy this year. We started off on a bad slate, but then we've vastly started healing up, getting better, and now all our guys are back, except for maybe Sanders and Kader Kohu, maybe a couple here and there, but it's not like 15, 16 like we've had in the past. So that excuse out the window, please. Yeah, the defense, it's really hard to evaluate this defense. Now, I know we played a very good game against the Buffalo Bills. The defense played pretty well against the Buffalo Bills, really good. But against these bad teams, we really can't evaluate. Okay? We can't. Sure. Chop Robinson, he had a great let me go. What did Hunter say here? He said, we are not playing at their level. The Dolphins are that level. Okay. That's a fair point. You're right. That's a fair point, Hunter. We are that level. We are bad. You're right. But anyway, I know Chop Robinson had a decent game. And everybody's, oh, Chop Robinson is back. Dude, he only had one game. He's only had one game this year, and it wasn't good. It was okay. It was above average, but it wasn't anything special. Let's not make out like he's an all pro. I mean, I don't get it. You know, a guy has one or two games or three good games, and we call him an all pro. You know, no, no. Minka Fitzpatrick, great save. You know, saved the game right against the New Orleans Saints. He's made a few good plays this year. He's played solid. He's played solid. Okay, he's played solid for us. All right. The ones that I'm impressed with are not Kenneth Grant because in Zach Sealer just got paid and he's having an average season. Kenneth Grant is having a below average season. Jordan Phillips is having a solid season for a rookie. And so is Zeke Biggers. We should have brought him in at the first of the year. We just took him off the practice squad, what, two games ago or so? He's solid. Those are some promising, I think, some promising young defensive tackles for the future. Great pickup, I think. That was good. You know, they're going to develop into maybe solid rotation players. Hopefully, Kenneth Grant, uh, develops. He was our first round pick. Maybe he develops into a good player eventually in a year or two, because it took Christian Wilkins a couple years to develop and to get better. And I know, you can't expect these rookies, right, coming in, expect them to be at the speed of the game like overnight. I mean, yes, are there some that can? Yes, you know, but that's not that's rare that they come in like, come in and make an impact right away, especially defensive tackles. And to be fair to Jova Sevaniah, even offensive linemen. But the thing is with Jonah, again, you went up to get this guy, man. You expect this guy to come in, plug and play, and at least be good or solid. He hasn't even been that. Okay. And that's the problem. And folks say, "We'll give him a couple years or two." But no, you didn't draft him to be good in 2 or 3 years. You drafted him to start right away, plug and play, and be a solid guard. And he's not. And we gave him a guaranteed contract. So we're he's going to be around next year too. Give him a benefit of the doubt. I'll give him another year. And if we're rebuilding, depending on how things go next year, if we're rebuilding, I'll give him 2 or 3 years. That's fine. But anyway, the our defensive backfield, okay? Jack Jones, where was he this week? Okay? Another example. He had a great game last week. Oh man, he's a keeper. He made a great play, blah blah blah. 1 or 2 good games, that's it. In order for a player to be really good or a good player, they got to have more than just 1 or 2 or 3 good games. They need to be solid. They need to be good every game. Every game, they need to be good. Maybe 1 or 2 bad games or 3, but they need to be good every game. Them draft picks needs to be guaranteed. You mean like Kenneth Grant and Jonah Sevaniah? Yeah. We drafted them because Chris Greer, I guess, felt, or the organization felt, that they were just plug and play and they were going to make an impact right away. I mean, that's the way they were talking all offseason. Oh, they're going to be great. Oh, he's a beast and blah, blah, blah. And he's a hustler. And Jova Sevaniah is a beast, man. You draft them up that high. I agree, Kenna. They need to come in and plug and play, and they need to be better than just average or below average. They need to be good. And right now, all they're doing is taking up space, basically. You can get a backup from another team that would fill his spot and do just as good, if that's all you expect out of your draft choice. But anyway, so yeah, Minka Fitzpatrick saved the game for sure. Um, Rasul Douglas did pretty well as well. He's been a surprise. I didn't think he was going to be as. Now, I'm not saying he's at all pro level or he's been playing great. He's been playing solid. He's been playing average. In some games, he's played above average. He's made some plays. Okay. He's in his, I think he's going to be over 30 or he might be over 30 already. Um, he's on a 1 year deal, I believe. Okay. He may not be here next year. Jack Jones may not be here next year. There's going to be a lot of guys that aren't going to be here next year because a lot of them are on 1 year deals and 2 year deals. Now, I'll tell you one guy we can sign because he is young, and I think we should. Jordan Brooks. I think we should definitely sign Jordan Brooks. Give him an extension. He should be part of the future. I think the core of the defense, right? As and along with Jordan Phillips, Zeke Biggers, uh, you know, um, Zach Sealer is going to probably be here again next year. Uh, Bradley Chubb. Everybody said, "Oh, Bradley Chubb has been playing great." No, he hasn't. I think he's had one or two good games. That's it. We're paying this guy big bucks to play at an all pro level, not just a average or above average level. Okay, we got to put this stuff in perspective, into context. Okay, they have one or two or three good games, and that's all you see. That's it. I mean, that's not good. That's again average, below average. Maybe he has a good game or two. You need him to be consistent. Okay, across this goes across the line to all the players. If we're going to be a good team, they got to play good every single game. Okay? Every single game they've got to play good. Because when you get into the playoffs, you've got to play really good. Because those other teams that you're playing are really good. And you've got to match that. You've got to match that their performance. Okay? You get into the playoffs and let's say let's say we make it to the playoffs. Achan gets stopped in the playoffs, right? Can't run, can't throw the ball well. A few passes here and there, but nothing explosive because in order to win games in this league, you got to throw the ball. And your quarterback is not mobile. He can't run. Maybe he's lost his confidence because of the concussions, the hip injuries. He's had all these little nicks and stuff. You're not going to win anything like that. You can't. So receivers got to play good, running backs got to play good, lines got to play good, quarterbacks got to play really good. Defenses got to play good. You got to play good complementary football all the way around. So the way I see it is we are a bad team. We're going to be playing against another bad team in the New York Jets this coming Sunday. Look, this should be a game that we win. It should be a game that we win. But if you go back and you look at the teams we did beat the last two or three times, right, other than Buffalo, Washington Commanders, New Orleans Saints, we may not even beat New York Jets if we play like that because the Jets are playing pretty well. Let me give you some stats here that I looked up, and So the Dolphins' points in the second half since week 5. These are the Dolphins' points in the second half since week 5. And once I go down here and read these off, you're going to see why you can't. We're not going to be a playoff team this year, possibly. And if we do make it, we're going to be one and done. Okay. And a lot has to happen. And I'm not going to get all, this has to happen and that team has to lose and this. I'm not going to get into all that. If you got to get into all that, you know, then your team is not good already. Okay. They're not playoff caliber. But in the second half, the Dolphins' points in the second half since week 5. Panthers, 7 points. Chargers, 14 points. Browns, 0 points. Falcons, 17 points. Ravens, 0 points. Bills, 14 points. Commanders, 10 points. And that was overtime. Saints, 3 points. 3 points in the second half. Our offense. Pitiful. If you can't come out in the second half and make adjustments and score points, you're not going to win in this league if you're playing against good teams, really good teams, playoff caliber teams. You can't win like that. Okay? You cannot win like that. And just for kicks, I also looked up the free agent quarterbacks for next year. Because I don't know if Zach Wilson is going to be here next year. I don't know if even Quinn Ewers is going to be here next year. Maybe he'll continue to be on the practice squad, or maybe he'll move up to backup. I don't know. We don't have enough sample size to guess that because we haven't seen him play but 4 or 5 minutes, of one game. Okay, and you can't expect a rookie to come in for 4 or 5 minutes and show flashes of how good he is or how bad he is when he hasn't even had any reps with the first string receivers or unit. Okay, so there's a small sample size there. Yeah, Bryce Young is better than Tua this year. This year, he's Bryce Young is improving and Tua is regressing. I agree with you. So here are the top free agent quarterbacks next year that we could. Some of these could be a stopgap. Let's say we trade. I don't know if anybody's going to want to trade with or not. Nobody's going to take on that contract. But let's say we write out, release him or whatnot. Maybe we can have some of these quarterbacks can be stopgap for a year or two until we get the quarterback, that we need, or draft the quarterback and have him sit for a year or two. I wouldn't be, opposed to that. So number 1 on the list is Daniel Jones is a free agent next year. Who knows if he's going to get another contract with the Colts, depending on how they do this year. Marcus Mariota is there. Joe Flacco, Malik Willis, Aaron Rodgers, Jimmy Garoppolo, Tyrod Taylor, who we're facing this week, Gardner Minshew, Trey Lance, Russell Wilson, Michael Trubisky, Sam Howell, Kyle Allen, of course, Zach Wilson, Skylar Thompson, Josh Johnson, Kenny Pickett, Carson Wentz, Teddy the Bridge Over Troubled Water. We don't want Teddy Bridgewater. Brandon Allen, Jake Browning, Tommy DeVito, and Case Keenum. Those are your free agent quarterbacks next year. So quite a stock there that we can look at possibly as a backup. Say if Zach Wilson's a free agent next year, so he probably won't be here. But those are some guys we can look up as backups for Tua if Tua's still around. Or we could have as a stopgap quarterback. So we'll see. I don't want to get too far into the what is because we really don't know what's going to happen next year. We don't. I am excited for next year already, believe it or not. And the reason why I am is because we did get rid of Chris Greer. We got rid of those two, released those two player of director personnel um, folks. So that's three in the front office that we got rid of. Um, it's still up in the air. We don't know what's going to happen with Mike McDaniel. Um, the question is with Mike McDaniel, I don't think he's a head coach material. I'm just going to put that out front. I don't think he's head coach material. I think he could be a good offensive coordinator somewhere. But if he does come back, the question is he really good as a coach for the quarterback? Can he develop a quarterback? I know we had Tua, and he squeezed everything he could out of Tua, but a lot of that had to do with the motions, the cheap motions, Tyreek Hill, you know, um, and I'll have to admit we had a better offensive line when he got here. You had Terran Armstead, you had Robert Hunt, you had Connor Williams. Um, of course, we had Eichenberg, and then we had Austin Jackson. But those three alone I think, were better than what the line that we have now with Armstead, Connor Williams, and Robert Hunt. It's better than the O line we have now. So we'll see how it goes, ladies and gentlemen. I am excited for next year already. I mean, I know I'm not going to get my hopes up on this year. I believe it's over. It's been over since about the third, fourth game of the season. I just saw it, with my own eyes. I said, this team is not playoff caliber. They're not ready for a playoff. They're not, and so far it's happening. The beginning of the year, I'll say it again. I said they'd probably go 8-9. I said 10-7 at best, and that's if everything goes right. No injuries. All the rookies step up and they play not just average or below average, but they actually play good. I said the ceiling is 10-7. I said realistically 8-9, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go win 6 or 7 games, 7-10 or 6-11. So, but I am excited about next year, guys. Hopefully, Stephen Ross does the right thing. And I don't know. Is Champ Kelly the answer as GM? It's hard to say right now. I know Mike McDaniel's not the answer, and I know Tua Tagovailoa is not the answer. But that's all I know right now. So I appreciate all of you joining tonight. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, share with your friends, your families, and your neighbors. And I will see you again next week. Let's see if we can win. We can beat the Jets. My prediction is I'm taking the Jets. I don't know what the score is going to be. It's going to be low, I think, but I'm taking the Jets this week. I just don't think Miami is going to survive up there with the cold weather, especially our quarterback. The way he's been playing, I don't see him, all of a sudden, magically turn it around. I just don't see it. I just see him slowly but surely regressing. So I hate to say it, but I think the Jets will win next week. So hopefully not. Hopefully I'm wrong. I want my team to win. So we'll see you next week. Thanks for joining. God bless. And remember, Dolphins number one, baby. Dolphins number one.